Users will have to use the external software and follow these instructions here. Now, before you log in, some caveats. Be sure you have an account on the computer. If you're not, just let me know and I'll set one up for you. You need to be sure what your password is on the password. Okay? So your password is the same password as you would use for Canvas or any other Sensen IT website. Not your Gmail or G.Sensen. Show you how logging looks like for me, and once you know that, you might feel a little bit more comfortable with yourself.
Hello, can you hear me? Mark and Rod, could you please confirm that you can hear me?
Okay. Yes, it's recording down in the corner. Sorry, doing everything? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start. I need to make me the presenter, Dr. Bell. Sorry. Oh, I am. Okay, so okay, it worked out. So yours timed out, and you made me the presenter, so we're good. I'm going to share my screen. I'll receive. Okay. Okay, I wanted to first start with about what I call Python scripting, which is basically writing a program and actually executing it. So what we've been doing is we're working through the interpreter through the terminal, where you type each command, or we've been working on the website where it creates this environment where you write scripts and you execute it. But it's always going to have internet connection, and so probably where you're doing most of your script writing, you want to do it locally. So this is how you go about it locally. So I'm gonna continue by doing this, but just know you can do it through the website as well. Everything will work. Now I'll be back in.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, you go out. I'll kill this.
We're just having a little bit of feedback. Okay. We kind of went over this yesterday. We very briefly. The gist of it is that you can have any kind of text editor that you want if you get it open, and you type in, if you name something with the extension .py and you type in Python code, you will be able to go to your terminal. Go away. So you can go to terminal, and assuming that your code is here, so mine is analyzedata.py, which is the code over here, which that we're going to be with. If I type Python, and instead of just hitting enter and entering the interpreter, I give it my file name. And I'm printing this hello world, but it does do that. So that's the gist of it. That's how I'm going to proceed today. You can still go through the website, and you can still do the interpreter if you so choose. That's how I'm going to proceed today. Any questions? I have a Mac, so I have Xcode that kind of does this pretty, it actually colors the words, the keywords, so you know what, but any text editor will do. A G that you can use in Linux. I don't know if it's in Windows. Would you in Windows? You're with you, right? What are you using? Yeah, okay, so it's equivalent in every platform. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you do have, I'm not sure if it's actually automatic. If Python is installed on Windows automatically, so it's not. I'm getting confirmation it's not. You can install it, and then you can run this script like this. You can do it through an IDE, which is like, I'm not. Are there any Python IDEs that? Which one do you think? Yeah. Okay. You can do this, but this is how I'm going to do it today. If you have any questions, if you're not able to do this site or moving on. So the first thing we need to do is we need to download our data. So we can use wget address, which I will copy into the chat for you guys myself. I haven't actually put it in the right spot, so it's not going to be okay. Give me a second. Behind this morning, so I didn't get to actually put this in the right spot for you guys to download it. But if you give me just 1 second, I can get it there. Opportunity that if you want to use your own data, you can. Okay. Easy as that to do now. So this is the full URL. And then if you don't have wget installed, you can just go through your terminal. And it's not letting chat. Maybe. Okay. So I'm going to use wget. So I already had it in my subdirectory. So the back, it's one, but yours should just save as python.c. And if we take a look at this data, so just open in Excel. Try to save it for me. What is it's just it's gender and income. So it's kind of akin to what we worked on yesterday. The difference is before we had ID, and instead now we have a gender. And you'll see kind of how we can kind of like this in kind of like statistical methods for like learning that. So it's a preliminary step to some decision-based models. So we're going to get this. So this exercise, I wanted to start this off with kind of like it's an exercise, but it's really the first step to kind of about your algorithm. So algorithmic design. So you want to figure out what you need to do, what your goal is, and then you kind of lay out the steps of how you're going to accomplish that goal. So it's just like any other goal that you want to achieve. But what I would suggest is simply use what's called pseudocode. But we can really just is a list of instructions. And here we're going to kind of brainstorm. We're going to brainstorm to solve it in just plain English. And we're going to turn the English into code. So that's kind of the gist of what you do when you tackle a program. So this is going to be to read this data. So put the data into separate lists. So each column becomes its own, and then perform some sort of analyses on it, and write it to an output file, your analysis, and then have the file that you wanted. So that's the goal. To do this, we need to open a file. So open file, and here we have a couple steps that we need to do. So first, open the file, and then we need to read from the file. So the file, we can say read file, and brainstorming beforehand is actually also a shortcut into commenting. So I mean, if you've ever heard Permain complain about no comments, it's basically code that is just code. Human read, comments and say this part is doing this, this part is doing this. So if you brainstorm beforehand, you're already going to have those comments in. So it increases your readability. So you go back and you say, this is what I was doing here, this is what I'm doing here. It allows you to recycle your code, so you can different parts of code to make a new script. Okay, we want to open the file, we want to read from the file. Now we want to parse the data into lists. We want to perform some analyses, data analysis. Write our results. And clean up, close files, same steps. So we're going to listen. We should all of these, the previous lessons, all of these we should know. This one is going to be new today, but then you should know all those. So I'm going to do this to you guys and just start can. I'm writing as you go, but write the most that you can, the most that you remember. And it's completely okay to pull out your old scripts and copy and paste from there. So, yeah. And that when you're file and then executing, make sure to save the file. It sounds silly, but it can be really maddening when you do all your changes and then you try to execute it and you realize it's not executing what it's supposed to. It could just be you didn't save it. Just from experience. All right. And each of the portions, I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk about it. Just make sure you guys don't have any questions about it. Okay. So has everyone gotten through opening the file? Did everyone this extra print thing? This print back, of course, the name of the file, and this is just to make sure that I did actually open the right file. Just as a check. All right. So if there's a file, we're going to move to the next chunk, which is reading from the file. There are two different ways to do this. You read all of the contents in all at once with the read function, and then you can read each line as a list, line function. So I'll give you guys a few minutes, and then over it. On the website, or so what you need on the website is you just need a file here, and then you can paste your data. Yeah, I haven't found another way to actually upload it, which is silly, but that will have LibreOffice on it, so you should be able to. Okay. I know we probably haven't gotten the data up yet. That's okay. I'll give you. Okay. Start typing and compare your results to mine. You don't have to be identical. You can do these in different ways. So that's just the art of programming. It's just going to become your own. Okay, I'm going to see. Whoa. Okay, that's what we want to see. So here, there's just one-liner. You could do ways, but it's the easiest way. Just read the lines in, and so now if I print the lines, which I did, you'll see that it's a list of strings. And now what we want to do is we want to put the data into lists. So if you got this part done, you may continue on to this part. So I'm going to start with that part. Data in. Okay, great. Okay. Here, I think there's a couple subtasks that you need to do. So you need to read each line, then you need to parse out each individual character in between the commas. So you need to use that split command we went over. And I want to save them into their own list. So you have to give them a name, give them a new list, and then start to append things. Okay. Get on this one. Just maybe even just the first. To the side, if you guys were in this workshop, I'm going to use a command called head to get to my data file. Remind myself what my headers were. So I had a gender, an age, a height, a weight, and income. So those are the columns that I want to capture. So at this point, I'm setting up 4 empty lists that I'm going to start adding all of my data to. So now through each line in my lines so this is that fort that we used yesterday. And I'm going to call it temp. And to take every line, split it, not based on that, based on a comma. I want to based on a comma. So it becomes a list of characters, or list of numbers, characters in this case. Now, I want to start thing temp to places in my empty arrays. So doing append, so temp is gender, I copy and paste. Not as nice as the website. The website auto-indents it for me. I have to actually press the tab on this one, which what I've done is I'm stepping through each of the lines, I'm splitting them based on a comma, and now I'm appending the appropriate value to each of my individual lists. So if I were to, let's print one of them. You'll see there, I have all my males and females, all my M's and F's. The only problem that I really have is the same problem we ran into yesterday, which I still have this header one, this header value here. I don't want because I'm going to start to do some analysis on this, and the word gender does not mean male or female. So I want to do this, and so yesterday we had a counter and equal to 0 at the beginning, and was I had an if statement in here, so counter to 0. So the first loop, my counter is going to be equal to 0. So I'm going to have counter 0 first time through this loop, and then I'm going to so all this belongs to this if statement. The first time through the loop, it's going to be 0. This if statement is not going to be executed. This loop, my appropriate so and you can do this many different ways. So everyone, what he's saying here in a second. To make my counter equal to 1, let's say. Second time through the loop, my counter is equal to 1, so I'll hit this if statement, and I'll execute this. So save this, I run it again, and you see that it's gone. So suggesting is that at the end, so if I comment this and indent. So I go through each of my lines, and at the end of it, I have statements that say, let's see, genders, top 0. Remember, I think we went over this maybe on day 2. What pop do is it'll remove the element that so you give it index 0, it's going to remove the first element of your list. That this works just the same way. So of course, I need to add that for all of my so this is it is to do a counter is a little bit more efficient. Now here adding all these additional statements, and so they're going to take execution time. And here we just have an if statement that first one. We will skip all these for iteration and only execute those iterations that we want. So referencing, again, I do this in many different ways. Some and others. In this case, it doesn't matter too much. We're not losing much time at all. So, no, Dr. Fowler was asking what version of Python I have. If you guys want to know the same, no, 1 second. Actually, the way to do it. So just hit Python and you go into the interpreter. It's going to tell you what the version is up here. There's probably a command line argument like -version or something that you can give it to give you the version. But on 2.7.10, there is a Python 3 out, so you can use that as well. There are going to be, I don't think anything is dedicated, so you can do these same functions, are additional features on top of that. And maybe a couple tax differences for Python 3. And this is what we're. Okay. It does, yeah. What Dr. Scott was asking, and I put this out, I think today or the day before. The income, since the list has a new line character, because it's in each of the so this is goofy, but you can correct for it. So we'll have a data analysis portion. Okay, we move on through our flow. Next is performing data, which we haven't covered yet, and we'll come back to, but I want to do all I can first, and then go back to what we haven't covered yet. So, results. So that's going to probably be data analysis that we use. However, as a practice, as a simple practice, I'm going to say why don't we write back our files. So we're going to read in our files, we're going to parse them, and now we're going to write them back. So it's a pedagogical exercise. It doesn't have, you're not doing anything interesting, but it's learning. So we're going to write. So yesterday we went over how to write. So call the file write out file. That's going to be my handler that I can use the functions associated with a file. I'm going to put in, and now the name. I'm just going to call it output.text. And instead of opening it for reading, we're going to open it for writing. Okay. So here, all of these lists, how am I supposed to write them back?
To write them back to the file.
Let's say in the same form. So,
Not so you have the file name that you want to write it to.
yeah, we've opened it, but now actually writing our results back. So it sounds, it can get a little bit, it's a little bit less trivial than, you may think that perhaps you want to say file and you want to, with me. So these IDEs, they try to auto-complete for you, but I think it was case one. Yeah, okay. in lowercase. So you may, okay, so I just want to write back genders. Write back, you know, so on and so forth. But it does. So one, genders is a list, and this function does know about lists, how to write lists. So what you do is you're going to have to actually use the for loop, walk through the elements again, and print them out. And flexibility that now, if you wanted to say change your format, so instead of doing comma delimited, do tab delimited, you can switch it up. So maybe we do that, tab delimited. So we can't do that. What we need to do is we need to go through our list. You use a for each loop. And by the way, for those of you online and those of you here, if you want to go ahead and get started without listening to me and just write yourself, more power for it. I'm writing it and kind of like giving my input, but again, there's multiple ways to do these. But a for loop that is not a for each loop, but the one that goes for variable in range is going to be the start of them. And so we can that our gender, height, weight, income are all the same length. So they came from the C file, so I'm going to make that assumption. So maybe in all cases you couldn't, but in this case you can. So we can, and then I'm just going to send genders. Send in whichever one. We're looping through each element in our, in this case, but it's going to be, we're going to have the same, we're going to loop through the indices 0 through the length of it. And now, the statement here, that, and instead of just printing genders, we're going to print genders at I. However, I have the right method, so this may fail. But if it fails, why it's going to fail? So let's for now, just so we can test it. Oops, what happened? If I test, my put.text is there. If I do a head of it, cool. So it did do what I wanted, kind of. It sort of did what I wanted it to do. It printed my my gender. However, I mean, it'd be in, you know, a column, and I want it to be with the rest of my data. So the one at the right function, and Caleb, I don't know if you know this. Can I give it a couple things to write at the same time? Like print F type deal? Yeah. We're gonna the print F?
Yeah.
No.
Just,
yeah. No. Yeah. So I've been told to give this a try, where I'm going to give it this and see what it does. It didn't work. In some languages that works, but in this one it's not a girl string. What about nation? That works. All right, so what we're going to do here is it's going to convert this to a string already. If you remember concatenation from the first lecture, it's just a plus, and that just adds whatever character to it. We're going to change it to tab, the limited one, and I think this is a good place to say. So this is a tab. In languages, this is a tab. We're going to find out if this works in Python as well. Totally works. Okay, so a lot of but so here this backslash is an escape character. So you could have put a tab here, and it was the same. But in Nices, sometimes it may truncate it to make it just a space, and you may not want that. You may want it to be an exact tab. Just know that this T means tab, and we're going to use our escape character too. So, okay, so we just need to do our data. The thing about Python is, I know, I take that back. I was going to say the indenting, but it actually makes for really nice, readable code. So some people start programming, they won't indent properly, and so it's hard to read. So this actually makes it easier to read. So, incomes. We're going to, and it's not going to give us exactly what we want, but I'm going to show you what it did. Yeah, you see what I was trying to do. So, this would just give us one long line, just the first line. But since, if you were, when I printed out that the income up here, /n, this is another escape character, which means new line. So it's a new line. So we still have this issue. But extra tab, and that's because so this by line, so we print, so that's there in the tab, in the height, in a tab, and then income in a tab. So tab is probably necessary. We don't need that tab after. So if we run it again, we get what we want. What we've done is we read data in, and then we've changed the format and printed it back. However, that was the headers. We lost header information. You could, of course, save that into a list and then also add the headers at the end. Questions? Okay. And now what we're doing, which we should be doing, is closing our file. When we had a data file, close. I don't capitalize that one. And file dot close. Okay, so it hasn't changed anything. We're good to go. All right. Tackle our course data analysis. To do that, there's some built-in functions in Python that you can use. So, for instance, if we wanted to get we wanted to know what actually, that doesn't make it. That's height. Let's say we want to get the sum of our income. That may be a bit more sense maybe, but so there's a built-in sum function. So let's say income sum. This is just a name up to a function called sum and the incomes list. And then, showing you, but you can totally do it in Python, is that you can say income, like a something, and then you can put a comma in your print statement and actually give it the parameter. So this will, it'll print both of these. Because our income new line. Okay. Sorry, what? Oh, I swear I used morning on list on the website.
What is sum? Is that a Python function?
Yes. No, it's a Python function. You're right. It may think that those incomes are straight because of the new line. Let's test that by, let's say, let's use weight. I'm not going to change the. All right.
This kind of error, is it sum or is it?
It's a sum function. The plus sum function. Okay. All right. This is more. Why to write our own functions? So there's some function getting the parameter wrong, or you do a conversion, which we'll figure out here in a second if we can't. But so that I wanted to make here is that some functions have built-in functions already in Python. So you're going to write your own function. So we're going to write our own functions. Now, people have different kind of styles to do this. Some people write their functions at the top of their code. Some people write at the bottom. Mine at the bottom. So functions, I guess we can sum functions. Write some function. Bottom of my code here, and I'm going to write a function. So the syntax for this is def. I'm defining my function. I'm going to give a name, and I'm going to call it my sum. And I'm going to take in list. So my name, I have to tell it what kind of variable I'm sending it. I'm just going to name it. And I'm only use this variable within my function. It's not going to be global. So this is the difference between a global and a local variable. Whereas like outfile is global because it exists in the main program. Mine is just going to be a local thing. Okay, so this side of here, my list, and we can do whatever we want with it and return something out of it. So we want to return the sum. The way that is I write my return statement first. If I could spell return. Return. I've already used the name. Let's say and so here I want to loop through the elements of my list and add them all up. So we're going to do for I in range to the length of my list. Possibly. So if not, we just need to convert them to integers. I'm just on a conversion that will convert a whole list of yeah, if you the syntax for it. We're going to do it anyway. So the sum, which you necessarily, or you do actually have to do this in Python. So I need to define my sum, the sum, sorry, equal to 0. Go through the for loop, resetting this variable. So it's going to yeah, we could read it as we could read array, which only takes integers, only takes numbers, but lists are more common in Python. So I think most people think in lists, they just have to deal with the data conversion at some point. Okay, so equal to the sum list at I. So here, when we go through the loop, it's going to update the value of the sum. It's just going to do the value that's in my list. And so here, I'm going to, I guess, turn this back on. Actually, let's keep weights for now, because I think that new line we're going to have to strip. Sum, I'm going to give it my sum. So this is now my function, my sum function. And I'm going to fail. Okay, we do actually have to do it. Oh, wait. No, that should certainly be there. Let me check something. Sometimes you have to put them at the beginning. You do. So I take it in Python, it's not a preference thing. You have to put your functions at the top of your file. So it's going to define all of your functions. Python's going to work through and define all your functions, and then it's going to execute things. You just need to do it before you use it. So in some ways, the compiler will go through and it will find all of the depths that you're defining first, and then do others. But in this case, you have to define it first, which is getting an issue that unsupported for plus, int, and string. Add an int to a string. Have you found my conversion?
So there's apparently, so there are features essentially different. So in modules, there's an move function that converts a string into the
Okay, so is that?
Did you skip the backslash?
Well, I'm not using the income yet. Nice. It worked. Okay, so what we did here is we converted this string into an int by using this int function. So this is a data conversion, and I know R, I have to do this all the time to make things like add character or convert them, you know, between two things. So this is just how you would do it in Python. So at the end, we run the variable, the sum. This is my actual function name. So my sum is my function name. So I don't want to wrap. So if we go back, we use weights. Let's try income. However, we're going to get another good error. It's going to probably error when we try to convert it to int. Okay, so since Python is nice. Your income had the backslash n at the end. When it was converted to integer, that was automatically stripped away. So that's kind of nice. So that's conversion. Another way you could have done it, that in here, when we were appending values, we could do conversion here for the temp 0, temp 1, temp 2, temp 3. We could convert those to integers and just read them as integers from there. then you can strip it. I mean, if you convert it to int, it will strip it automatically. So it's kind of nice. So I wasn't initially thinking that I would have to do some or function. And actually, now that we know our data version, do you think that work with the list? Maybe? Instead of using my sum, I'm going to go back to using just the built-in sum, and I'm going to pass inverse to my int. And let's see what it does. Okay, it doesn't. So it's not compatible. It can't convert the whole list. And this is a good way to learn in programming languages, just to try things and see what happens and see what breaks. Yeah. So of writing a function. Oh, we have 4 minutes. Quickly, you may not want to do any of this. You may not want to write your own function. And luckily for you, Python has a lot of modules that import to do these kind of functions. So just quickly, I'm going to do it after my function definition. There's in particular called statistics. The mean, standard deviation, all those good, nice statistics to draw from. And you can say from name of the module, so statistics. It's because I can't spell, but it's right. Statistics. So from the module statistics, let's say I want to import. I want to do mean, average. So I want to import the mean function. So the statistics module, I want to import mean, and now I can use the mean function anywhere in my code. Now you can omit. You can, instead of saying mean, you can, if you want to have multiple ones, you don't want to just list, you can say star. So it's every function that's in statistics, and you can use it. Be really useful, and there's many modules. And I think tomorrow maybe Dr. Balfar, however we end up, are going to go over there's a BioPython that has a lot of extra analyses for like FASTQ data and genetic data, that kind of thing. So we'll go over that. We'll go over and writing our own functions. So are there questions so far? I guess the questions are. Is there any questions for me? Them yet. So what I can do at this point, I will send you them on an email. I have now because you read. So I send all of the code like just zipped up together in an email. They should be going on. There's this website for Embry that they've been in with. So you can, the links here for the videos as well once we get them converted and everything.
So it's called Embry. That's .com. No.
7 point, but I think it's the URL is changed. But if you search for Embry, I'm sure it will come up.
Okay.
And the bioinformatics summer workshops are through. And so it'll appear here under basic programming and Python.
So I think what we should do, we should plan on aggregating all of our data and all the Python scripts that you have written so far, so people, if they want to go and download. But do you think it would be useful if we assign some additional programming assignments? So just here, so some additional ones. Online things that's remotely attending, you think, can you chime in whether it would be useful to put the Python scripts, the data, list of exercises, programming exercises? And the person, I don't know how to pronounce that name. That's not right.
Right, those guys.
That's his name, that's his brain, that's his first name.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
All right.
He's at home watching the World Cup.
All right, we will aggregate the information. Again, the bottleneck right now is to convert WebEx format video onto something that most common platforms have it. Otherwise, you have to go and download the proprietary software from WebEx and watch it. And in fact, you have to create an account with them. So it's a little bit cumbersome. Anyway, so we will send an email and let everybody know whether tomorrow's session will be recorded or tomorrow's session will be somehow remotely presented. But we'll keep everybody posted. Okay, thanks all. We'll see you next time. Bye.